Okay, that was a driver running a stop sign here at Elizabeth and 10th Street, San Jose, right beside this memorial. His name is Juan Vasquez, 64 years old. He was killed here very recently while riding an e-scooter on this multi-lane road. Now, according to the San Jose Mercury News report, he was riding on South 10th Street when he was struck by a Tesla emerging from Elizabeth Street. So if he was riding on South 10th Street, he would have been highly likely he was in the bike lane, which is a protected bike lane at that point. He was struck by a driver emerging from here, and then he was deflected out into the street where he was hit by a Chevy Cobalt. Now, how could this have happened? Because this is tricky, because we have a stop sign here. Drivers are supposed to stop. This is the view drivers would have turning left. Looking to their left, there's a pretty clear view of anything coming down the bike lane here. So the driver would have to have come out across the crosswalk, out into the bike lane, and then when he collided with the victim, he would need to have been deflected all the way across this parking lane, out into the path of the oncoming traffic. Now, it's tricky to see how that could have happened here, because if the driver had stopped at the stop sign, which, as you can see, almost no one ever does, he would have had a clear view of the gentleman coming on the e-scooter, and he would have had to have deflected him quite a big distance into the path of the second vehicle. This is your view, and this is your A-pillar. If you move down here like this, and you're continuously turning to the right, that exactly matches the path of anyone on a bicycle who's coming along at the speed bikes and e-scooters typically would ride at. But if you come to a stop at the limit line, that's no longer a problem. If you stop, it gives the cyclist or the e-scooter rider time to get out of your blind spot. So in theory, the stop sign should work, but as you know, almost no one obeys it. So from the victim's point of view, he would have been riding along here on his e-scooter. The driver would have emerged triumphantly here from Elizabeth Street. In an ideal world, they would have stopped at the stop sign, and they would have seen him. That doesn't seem to have happened here. He was hit roughly at this point and deflected all the way across this parking lane into the path of oncoming traffic, racing away from that light. Now, there are a number of problems with the design of this intersection. First of all, let's take a look up Elizabeth Street, and you can see there's no sidewalk on this side. This is clearly a 1960s or 70s design there. It looks very artistic, but there's nowhere to walk on this side of the street. So you're clearly in an environment where pedestrians are a bit of an afterthought. Secondly, this is not exactly a busy street. There's very little here. There's a couple of driveways into those homes, and there's an entrance to this parking structure for San Jose State University. Drivers can exit from that structure and turn left and go up the other way and exit on 9th. They could come in from 9th. There's no compelling reason for this to be a through street. You could close the end of the street off very easily with no discernible impact on traffic. And you would immediately solve the problem of drivers running the stop sign and potentially killing other road users. Another candidate here, is he going to stop? No, he's going to blow right on through it. Of course he is. See what I mean? Then, of course, you got the problem of this being a racetrack. This is a two-lane, one-way street. Look at them go. That's like the starting grid of a Formula One Grand Prix. When you have two parallel lanes of traffic and a stoplight, every time the light turns from red to green, all the drivers take it as an invitation to partake in a little drag race to the next red light. So you get racing behavior. Drivers subconsciously or otherwise try to beat each other to the next light. You get higher vehicle speeds on one-way streets like this. Highly dangerous. San Jose PD appears to have put a cone here. I wonder what the purpose of that cone is. Maybe it's to protect the parked cars from getting damaged by traffic racing away from the light. If that's the case, then the safety of parked cars appears to be a higher priority than the lives of people on scooters, people on bikes, and people on foot. How about a few more cones? How about a complete row of cones across the front of this street? Close it off. Right now, today. Do a quick build. Put a row of cones up, put up a sign saying no access. Go around the other way. No need for consultations. No need for a big long 6-month process consulting the neighbours. Just put the cones out. Save someone's life. Do it now. There's a handful of things we could do here. One is we could come down here with stop signs and whistles and jump out in front of cars running a stop sign and yell into the bullhorn, "You're participating in the behaviour that killed someone here a few nights ago." We could do that. But as you know, as soon as we leave, as soon as law enforcement leaves, drivers are just going to go back to their own old familiar behaviour. They're just going to keep on running the stop sign. So predictable. Look how far they creep out into the bike lane. They creep out into the sidewalk and on out into the bike lane. Doesn't bother them at all, and they're going to carry on doing it. We can complain about it, we could whine about it, we could put up a sign here saying please obey this stop sign. Not going to work. They're not going to change their behaviour. The only thing that's going to change anything is a fundamental redesign of this intersection. It is inherently dangerous, and it is directly responsible, in my opinion, for the death of the victim who died here. Now, apparently in California you can be charged with vehicular manslaughter, and penalties can range from a year in county jail to 10 years in state prison. But when people do kill pedestrians while driving a car, it's maddeningly rare that they're ever charged. Very often plead that it was an accident, and this magic A word, accident, seems to absolve drivers of all responsibility. So it's very seldom you'll see anyone being charged for causing the death of someone while driving a vehicle in a negligent manner. The law may as well not be on the books. It's so seldom enforced. And the only way you're going to save lives, in my opinion, is to redesign the infrastructure so that it becomes impossible to violate the laws in such a manner.